not words can't describe how awesome that was. Just, yeah, it was unreal.
What was it like when they scored the second goal? I mean, obviously it's a punch in the gut, but
Yeah.
how do you guys regroup?
Yeah, just props to the guys. Obviously one that I want to have, and just dug deep and was, crazy. So it was awesome.
At what point in that period did you realize that you guys might actually win this one?
I think when we scored that first one, because we started playing tilting the ice and just felt like we were all over their net and had all the chances, and just I felt like if I could just keep it at 2, then we'd have a great chance.
Can you describe what Rantanen did and how you guys feel for him?
Yeah, that's you can't write it up any better than that. A guy comes over, knocks out his whole team, puts the team on his back, and one of the best individual performances I've seen in playoffs in my life. So just so happy for him, and just to start.
Jake, they get the shorthanded goal. You guys go into that second intermission down 1-0. What was said in the room? What did Pete say?
Yeah, I think everyone just said that we liked our game and we had chances, and felt like if we played that way again, we'd have a chance to win. So just didn't change a thing. Didn't start trying to play run and gun. Just played the right way and got rewarded.
Third spring in a row you guys had a Game 7, but this was the first time you guys didn't lead or that you trailed.
Yeah.
How different and what makes this one
it's
more
not as
special?
fun. Yeah, not as fun. So I think that just shows us in here it's not over till it's over. We're never out of it. Down 2-0 would have been easy for us to just say it wasn't our year, and just wouldn't be denied, and just so happy to be a small part of this team.
Wyatt Johnston has 3 goals in 3 Game 7s. What's it like to have a clutch guy like that on the team?
Yeah, it's awesome. Just, the fact that he's 21 is crazy. Just so mature beyond his years. Such a great human being. Going to be a great Dallas star for a very long time. So just not surprising to anyone in here, and future is really bright for him.
Pete 9-0 now in Game 7s. You've been through a few of these with him now. What kind of makes sense to you about why he's 9-0 in these spots?
I think just getting the guys ready, to play the right way, play the way we have all year. I think we at times were the better team in the series, and then when we didn't play well, they were way better than us. So we just knew if we played the right way, we'd have a chance to win, and just happy we got rewarded.
How long do you guys give yourselves before you start thinking about the next series?
Just probably till tomorrow night, when whoever wins tomorrow night. So either team's going to be an awesome series, and just can't wait to get going again.
How much confidence do you guys have getting past a team like Colorado here in the first round that you can handle the next one?
For sure. I have a hard time believing that there's any team that's that much better than Colorado out there left. So just, we got to play the right way, and I think if we do that, focus on one game at a time, not get ahead of ourselves, and maybe try to win Game 1, we can go from there.
Obviously, you guys didn't want to think about the opportunity of not winning this game and not getting Robo and Miro back as part of the chase for the ultimate goal. If you can get them back, how monumental would this be?
Yeah, two All-Stars. Just shows you a lot about the team that we don't have those guys, and we're here still. So just whenever they come back, they're going to be obviously welcome with open arms. And until then, guys are continuing to step up.
Quite a comeback, and was there ever a thought when you thought this is going to be a loss?
Yeah, I like Coach Pete said in his speech to us at the end, there's never a doubt. Yeah, not the way we drew it up, but I think that just shows how special of a group we have here, just battling back. Everyone contributing from Jakey and out to Mikko, and just really, really cool game to be a part of.
What was it like watching Mikko basically pick the team up and single-handedly pull y'all back into it?
It was great. He's an awesome player. Everyone knows that, and just looked like a guy who was not going to be denied tonight. Just had that look on his face that he was going to make some huge plays, which obviously he did. And so, it was awesome.
Is there any added motivation from the group knowing the storyline, the narrative of him being the one to eliminate his old team to help him in that chase?
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty fitting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we wanna win for each other, and I think that goes a little extra when it's a guy like that who is such a big part of our team and was obviously there for a long time, and everyone kind of knows. Obviously the trade and what went on, and so it's so awesome. We're so happy as a group and for him, and yeah, it's awesome.
We hear the word belief a lot, at least in relation to wins like this. How much did that first goal from Mikko kind of kickstart that belief that you guys could pull it out?
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, I mean, we always feel like we're in it no matter what the score is, but 1 goal deficit seems a lot better than 2 goal deficit, especially in the third. And I think we've shown all year. We showed last game that we were never out of the game. Obviously didn't end the way we wanted to, but yeah, I mean that definitely gets a lot of belief into the group when he gets that one to get us back to 1 back.
Where does this win rank for you in terms of feel good victories?
It's up there for sure. Just the way we did it. Yeah, I mean, I don't, probably wasn't a whole lot of belief that we were going to be able to get it done with 15 minutes left in the third, and so, yeah, it's just awesome we were able to battle back, and especially in front of the home crowd, it was amazing. Out on the ice, my ears are still ringing a little bit from how loud they were, but yeah, it's up there for sure, and still, hopefully, a lot of pretty special games and special wins coming up the next. Little while.
You're literally bleeding from your nose. Could you just talk about what it took to survive this series?
Yeah, it's a battle. Playoffs are a battle. It makes it so much fun. Fun to play and fun to watch. It's I don't know. Playoffs hockey is the best, and that's what happens. You get some bumps and bruises, and I mean, they definitely feels a little better after a win.
Three straight springs with a Game 7. You've scored in all of them. What is it about the big moment that you kind of relish?
I don't know. I think for me, it's just doing what I can to help pitch in and help the team win. It requires everyone to win a series, to win, especially a Game 7. So for me, it's just doing what I can to help the team, whether that's scoring a goal, or if that's helping the team kill off a penalty, or getting a puck out. It's kind of whatever it is. For me, it's just coming with that same mindset to Game 7 and just try to help the team as much as I can. Obviously today Dutch made a great play to me, and just try to get it on net.
What does it mean to do this without Miro and Jason?
Yeah, it's awesome. It shows again what a special group we have. I mean, you lose 2 guys like that are as important to our team as those 2 guys are, and it's I don't think many teams are getting through that. So I think that it just shows just the resiliency, the depth that we have. Everyone had to step up and cover those holes. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and hopefully we can get them back as soon as possible, because even though we can help try to fill those holes, they're 2 amazing players, and we want them in the lineup as soon as we can.
You guys don't know who you're going to play in the next round, but looking to round 2, is there a lot of belief in this team that you can basically beat anybody after beating a team like Colorado?
Yeah, I think we have such a great group, and I think we have so much confidence in our team that we can beat anyone, and it's great to go against a team that's one of the best teams in the league in Colorado. They obviously know what it takes, having won a cup a couple years ago, and they have some amazing players, and they play really hard. And so for us, it's great to gain that confidence in beating a team like that, and just try to build it on. But yeah, I think as a group we have that confidence that we can win any series against anyone.
When you look at not only tonight's goal but the other Game 7 goals, I think all 3 have been sort of tight angle, top shelf. Do you practice that a lot, and how are you so able to sneak it in at that angle?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just trying to score, really. You obviously work on different things in practice, and try to work on things so that when you're in a game, it feels comfortable. It's not something new. Yeah, I mean, tonight it was just a great pass by Dutchy, and for me, just trying to hit the net from a tougher angle, and lucky enough it went in.
Big question, the cut on your nose, was that from the game or from the celebration?
It was, I think, from the game last minute or so. I don't know, it's, the last couple of minutes your adrenaline's going so
You're
hard.
positive of this. You're positive.
I think, I don't know. It's, I know, I remember what happened. I just kind of got bumped. I don't know how I ended up getting the cut. It's obviously, it's not bad or
How was the
anything.
celly in the room after that?
Great, feels great. Obviously, still a ton of work to do. This isn't the destination for us. This is the start of what we plan to be a super long run and Stanley Cup, and so it's awesome to to get that first quarter done, and we're looking forward to the next series.
How do you wrap your mind around Pete being 9-0 in Game 7?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super impressive. That's Game 7 seemed to be pretty close to 50-50, and for him to be able to come out on top of every single one he's been in so far is it's pretty cool, and we're happy we kept that streak going.
As a reminder, please raise your hand and we will pass you the mic to ask a question. We'll start with Taylor over here. You get the mic to...
Mikko, what flipped for you there in the third period to start that comeback, and what does it mean to be able to really put the team on your back and get this win tonight?
Yeah, obviously feeling it's incredible to win a series, first of all, against a really good team, and the series was probably not exactly what I expected. I expected a 7-game series before even Game 1, and the ups and downs in the series. We didn't play a couple of games. We didn't play well at all, and even tonight, a little bit flat first 2 periods, and give up a goal on the power play. And they score first shift of the third, kind of takes the air out of the building. But I think belief was there with the group the whole time, and obviously was able to make a play to get the first one. I think then crowd started to roll, and we got a couple looks after that, but yeah, the crowd really helped us there at the end.
Mikko, I have to ask, would you use the word revenge to describe this? Like, how badly did you want to beat the team that traded you?
Well, I don't know. It's like I've said before, when I got traded, it's business, and obviously things happened not the way I expected to happen, but it's business, like I've said many times, and I don't know, revenge. I'm just happy to win another team in the playoffs. It doesn't matter who it is. So I'm just happy to be on the winning side and move on here.
Hey, Mikko. You've only played with Wyatt Johnston for a few months, but he's got 2 Game 7 series clinching goals in his career, and he's just 21 years old. What do you see in him, and what did you see on his goal tonight?
Yeah, he's a big-time player. I remember last year playing against him in the playoffs. He was always, because he kills penalties, he plays first power play, he does everything really well. He defends well, scores big goals, so I'm not surprised he got the game winner. He well deserved, and heck of a player. He's only 21, so he's only gonna get better when the years go by, and a big part of our group. So I'm happy for him.
Mikko, if someone at training camp would have pulled you aside back in September and said, "By the way, you're going to score a hat trick in Game 7 for the Dallas Stars to beat out the Colorado Avalanche,"
Yeah.
What would have been your reaction truly, and what has this year been like at this moment?
I think I would have left the room probably in disbelief, but yeah, I for sure would have not believed that if somebody told me that. But yeah, difficult year personally, mentally tough, overall. Getting traded twice, it's not fun ever, to get traded even once, but twice in the season, But I gotta thank everybody here in Dallas, everybody who works for the team, and obviously the players and coaches, massage therapists, every guy who's here, they've been very welcoming and helping me to adapt. It obviously takes time to adapt, but everybody's been so welcoming and make it easier for me.
Hey, Mikko. How emotional was it going through that handshake line just now? And guys that you battled with, have won with for 10 years, to be eliminating them and going through that handshake line. What was that like?
It's emotional. They're my brothers for sure. Most of them I know really well and played with them for, like you said, 10 years. There's a couple guys who've been there since day one. Nate and Landy. So it's emotional, and it's. Obviously, we're enemies this series on the ice, but I always love them off the ice. It doesn't matter. It was between games, the day off. I love every one of them, and then when we go on the ice, they're enemies. But that's how it goes. But yeah, it's emotional for sure because everything happened so quick. It's only a couple of months since I was still with them, playing with them, and chasing playoff spot and stuff. And now I'm all of a sudden, a couple of months later, playing against them in a Game 7. So emotional is the right word for sure.
Mikko, when that first goal went in, it seemed like it energized the group and the belief was re-inspired. But belief is a mental thing. How does that actually, take place on the ice where guys are able to then turn that into the full-on comeback that we saw tonight?
Yeah, I think the crowd plays a big part of it. It was getting a little quiet, understandably, because time was running down, and they scored first shift of the third. All of a sudden, 2-goal game against a good team. It's hard to come back, and I didn't get 1 goal. Still, over 10 minutes left. The crowd was kind of started to believe a little bit and gave us a big push. So thanks for the fans. It was great. We had a couple looks, like I said, and then we're able to tie it and get the winner. So the crowd really helped us in the third.
Hey, Mikko. We've seen a lot of strange bounces in this series. I think your second goal, those ones have been earned, it seemed like. Is that a lesson? Because it does seem like when we've gotten these strange bounces, it seems like the team that's attacking is the one that's getting them.
Yeah, I think it's been going back and forth. There's, a couple games ago, we had some bounces, at home. I believe it was Game 5. We got some bounces. We won the game, and last game, they were playing better than us, and they earned their bounces and won the game. And maybe tonight, I wouldn't say we were playing better than them, especially in the first 2 periods. It was pretty even, but I think in the third we were pushing hard, and you gotta those bounces, you gotta earn them, and I would say they went both ways this series. Yeah.
Do 2 more questions, Robert, and then Jeff.
Mikko, how do you prepare for a game like this and then for a third period like that, just given everything, like you said, your friends and brothers on the other side of the ice, everything that's at stake in a series like this? How did you prepare for it today and then before that third period?
Well, yeah, it's Game 7. I think it's the first Game 7 I've ever won. I don't think we won one with when I was in that room, but it didn't really. I just prepared like any other game in this series. I knew obviously it's all or nothing game. You go home or you go to the next round. But I think preparation was the same, and I was pretty calm before the game, and obviously in the third, going into the third, I tried to, as a team, we had good belief still. Obviously the first shift of the third when they score, it's a tough one. It's sometimes those ones are tough to swallow, but I think our group responded really well. On the bench, there was chatter 5 seconds after the puck went in, to keep going, and I think that's what we did. It was tells a lot about the mental state of this team, and they've been through a lot. You can tell they have experience.
Hey, Mikko, 2-part question. First off, obviously you spent 10 years with that team. You wind up tonight wearing the Cowboy hat after the hat trick in Game 7. How does this moment make you feel more like a Dallas Star? And then also, obviously, you won the Cup with Colorado in 22. What about the way this team's playing now makes you think that this team can win it all?
Yeah, the first part obviously felt really good to win the game, and that's about it. It felt just a really good feeling to win the game, and similarities to 22 team when we won. It was I think it was a really deep team when we won, and I could see some similarities in this team. Obviously, we're missing Miro and Robo the whole first round. They're two elite players. So I think whenever they come back, it's going to help give us even more depth. But I think the depth is a really big key in the cup run, and obviously, got to say Otter. He's a difference maker. He's a really, really good goalie, and there's 2-0 when we were up, or they were up 2-0. He made some key saves. If there's a third goal, it's probably over, and they're celebrating now. So he's one of the best goalies in the world. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Here, I thought you were leaving and you were saying hi to Jenks out there.
As a reminder, please raise your hand to ask a question. We'll get you, Mike. And we'll start with Taylor again.
Can your team ever make it easy?
You know what? No, I mean, I told our group after, I honestly, I never felt we were going to lose, even when it was 2-0 and we didn't have anything going. There's a belief in that room that something was going to happen. And obviously Rantanen, put the team on his back in the last 10 minutes. But I think the group's pretty special. I mean, they've had a lot of stuff thrown at them from an adversity point of view, and they keep responding, and keep answering the doubters. And I felt something was going to happen. I couldn't have predicted that. I've only been a part of one other game like that, and that was San Jose, Vegas. We had a 3-0. We were in a 3-0 hole. Game 7 again. But the fact that I won 2 Game 7s. I've been a part of 2 Game 7s on the right side of that type of game is just it's crazy. It's memories for a lifetime.
Hey, Pete.
Hey.
I know you have said you don't like to, let your mind go there, but when you traded for Rantanen on trade deadline day, is this kind of what you envisioned? And just what was it like to watch him take over the game like that? Yeah.
Well, you know what? He took over. Let's be honest. He took over the series. The last 3-4 games. He just decided that, that we were not going to go home. And we were not going to lose. And I think it started then. But I mean, that what you witnessed there was special. I mean, this is the best league in the world against one of the top 5 teams in the world. And what he did there down the stretch was special.
Just to follow up on that, Pete, the trade deadline over the years, we've been around a long time. It's kind of an inexact science experiment. Some guys just come in and fit, and other guys need a lot of time. I kind of feel like Mikko's in between. It did take some time, but it feels like he's arrived here.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he's arrived.
How does that, in your eyes, how does that work?
Yeah. I think every situation's different, Pierre. I think, we had the benefit of the other Finns in the room. And then we also had the benefit of a motivated guy. This was Colorado and the team that, he had played for a decade. And I don't know all the behind the scenes, what went on there, but, he was a motivated guy to make an impact in this series, and he just got better and better.
Your blue line in this series without Miro Heiskanen, and then holding that lead for the final few minutes. What does it say about them?
Yeah, you know what, I thought, Alain Nazardine and that D-core really was, besides what Mikko did, was the MVP of this series. I mean, that core, if you put the names up on the board, there's not a lot of household names there. I mean, Thomas Harley, we had to overplay him because of the situation with Miro out. But those other 5 guys just battled and scratched, and it wasn't pretty. There's not, we're not making a lot of plays, coming through the neutral zone and jumping into the rush. We had to defend hard. What I liked about what they did, we got eaten up in Colorado in game 4 and in game 6. Just absolutely on our heels, rush chances. And, they responded. They locked it down tonight, and they gave us a chance to win. They made them earn the 2 goals they got. They got one a shorty and one on a 6-on-5. We didn't give them anything 5-on-5. We shut down a lot of their rush. And those guys grinded. They grinded hard all series.
When Mikko was in Colorado, he had some of the best numbers in the playoffs ever. But some people said, he's with McKinnon and Makar.
Yeah.
What did he show in this series?
Yeah, answer. I think he answered that question. I told you I've had a lot of playoff runs, and I don't know if I've had. I know I haven't had a player string together the 3 games he's strung together, 5, 6, and 7. How dominant, he's been shift to shift.
Just what do you think of Jake, obviously tonight and then in the whole series?
Yeah, Jake was great. You know what? He bent but didn't break. Again, I talked about he might not have a .980 save percentage, but the timing. I've talked about this. The timing of the saves. The one with the goalie out at the end. He has that special ability to raise his game at the most important times, and he recognized that. He recognized we were back in the game. He probably, that second one he probably would have liked to have back, but once we got back in the game, he just decided he was going to shut the door, and that's what he did.
Hey Pete, you said early on you might need overtime in Game 7 to get through the series. Yeah. What was it like for you, from your perspective, going through the ups and downs, ending up here?
You know what? It was. When you go through a game like that, you're just numb. You're numb. I'm sure Jared would say the same thing. On either end of it, you still can't believe. It's hard to process what really happened. And obviously a lot easier on my end of it than on his. But listen, that team played their ass off, and he did a great job, I thought, with them. Putting them in a position to win the series, and razor thin margins.
Yeah, Pete, you had to go 7 in the first round last year. Doing it this year without Miro, without Robertson against this team, with the kind of losses you have, did this just feel like a tougher hill to climb?
Yeah, you know what, Tim? Last year, getting Vegas. We're not getting any breaks. I thought Vegas was a better team last year than the one that won the cup. Deeper team. They had added Hurdle and a bunch of deadline guys. And that was a war, that series. So, but to take the 2 guys out of our lineup, what they mean to us. In every facet of how we play, and still find a way for the group to not use it as an excuse and to keep battling and to grind. And I couldn't be prouder of our group, because we had to do it a different way. We outscored teams all year. Miro, transitions the puck for us. He gets up into the rush. We look like a different team. With those 2 guys in the lineup, like anybody does. You take, 2 key players out of anybody's lineup, and your team looks different. What I like about it is we look different, but we still found a way, and that's the important part.
Pete, we know 9-0 now in these Game 7 situations. We know they're not all equal. This one you had to come back. The last 2 years you didn't have to come back from a deficit. Outside of leaving the arena with a win, what have been the common threads in the 9 games?
Yeah. I think I've said this. I didn't realize it, but I think I read something today that I think 7 of them. I remember one on the road in Florida, double overtime. I think 7 of them have been home games, and 1 in the bubble maybe. I thought I read. So that's real. And I've talked about the importance of Game 7s at home and the home crowd and the energy they bring. Like I don't believe we win that game if we're not playing at American Airlines in front of the Dallas fans. You know, the juice they gave us down the stretch there was huge. So that's a big part of it.
You don't get a lot of time to celebrate this one. Looking to the next round, regardless of who you play, is there a belief in this team that you can pretty much take on anybody now that you've gotten past Colorado?
Well, you like to think so. I mean, I think there's something special going on. You know, we need to get those guys back, but you like to think so. It sure doesn't feel like we've only won one round. You know, we're just getting started. Because that was an absolute, gauntlet of a series. So, we'll regroup, but I believe there's something special going on.
Hey, Pete. I believe Wyatt Johnston has scored in every Game 7 he's played in his career, and 2 of those goals are clinching goals. Yeah. He's so young. What allows him to be so clutch in those situations? So clutch. And I don't know if you saw the replay, but, the pass jammed him, and he put it in the skill to make that shot at that time of the game. At that age, he's got that. He's special. He's a special player, and he wants to be in those situations, and he rises to the occasion. You can't teach that stuff.
2 more questions, Mac, and then Jonathan.
Coach, we've made a big deal about you not having Miro or Jason. Should we expect to see them in games 1 or 2?
I don't know. I consider them both day to day now. But there's still some hurdles. So I think it depends when we start the series, how much time we have between now and Game 1. So I'll have a little better idea as we get closer. I believe you're going to see them both play in the second round. I don't know whether it's going to be Game 1 or Game 3 or Game 5.
Hey, Pete, this is a good ender for you. It was almost exactly a year ago that you guys won Game 7 against the Knights, and you said you already had about 2 to 3 beers when you came out to talk to us, and that you could get a lot done in 40 hours because the Avs are going down. Question is, how many beers have you had so far tonight, and how much can you get done in 48 hours?
I haven't had a beer yet, but you guys are holding me up from getting one here. I'm definitely having one tonight. I mean, I can't imagine. The players are exhausted. As a coaching staff, that's an exhausting experience too. But I'll replenish my fluids here and get back at it. Okay, thanks, guys.